Good evening, my fellow football fans, and welcome to Tiki Talkers. I'm Jesse Swainston, an avid Arsenal enthusiast and VAR's number one hater.
And I'm Bailey. London is blue, and Chelsea's in the top half of the table.
And this is Tiki Talkers, a unique podcast where two London football fan adversaries link up to discuss and debate the biggest news in world football. So we're going to jump right into kind of our monologues of how our respective teams did this past week. Bailey, kick us off. You must be buzzing after that win against Tottenham.
Completely buzzing. It was one of the craziest games I think I've watched in the Prem, certainly this year, and maybe the last 5 years. It reminded me a lot of the Battle of Stamford Bridge. What was that, 6 years ago now? Chelsea came in. They had a lot of fight in Tottenham's new stadium. Tottenham at the top of the table. It's a different situation than it usually is. One thing I was really happy about was that Chelsea has had Tottenham's number the past couple
Yep.
of years, right?
Yep.
Going into that game, I felt really good about that. I know we've always had their number. Anyway, the game starts. Tottenham is flying high. They score a goal really fast on a really good build up. They score another goal that's so marginally offside, and then all hell breaks loose. We see what could have been a red card on their left back, is it Udogi, and then they could have had another red card on Romero. Jackson has a really good chance, has a good stop. We score a goal. It's a cracker by Caicedo. Oh, we score a goal by Raheem Sterling. It's a handball. Caicedo scores an absolute worldie. It's ruled out for weirdest offside ever. Jackson, of course. And then we see a clear red, and I don't think there's really any debate about it.
Nope.
It's so hostile. Romero is,
Yep.
my opinion, dirtiest player in the Prem.
I,
Comes in, swings his boot so hard into his leg, so unnecessary, excessive, like so dangerous. And his fellow countrymen, I mean, they just won a World Cup together, gonna try to break his shin.
Seriously. Well, what do you, when people try to bring up Romero and the best center back conversation, or they bring him up amongst William Saliba or Lisandro Martinez or the likes of those, or Rafael Varane, what are your thoughts? Because I feel like he's just kind of sporadic. Yes, he's good at defense, but you've seen that time and time again. It's like his fifth or sixth red card in domestic competition. He's a good player, but that was bad. That was bad, and it put his team in a bad
Yeah,
way.
he's feisty. I think that 15 years ago, you want a center back like that. Today's game, you don't, because they literally see everything on VAR.
Mm-hmm.
And he wins a lot of duels. And I think, to me, he's too feisty. He's too error prone. Personally, I'd rather have those other names you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think he's a decent center back, but I think Van de Ven is way better than him on Tottenham. And I just think that feistiness would have been awesome 15 years ago, but in today's game, not as much.
Yeah, and Van de Ven out with an injury. As an Arsenal fan, I'm hoping that's long term, but I saw him back in training today. But going back to the Chelsea game, who was your man of the match? I know a lot of people are actually criticizing Nico Jackson. He wasn't as clinical as he could have been. Who do you think was the best player on the pitch?
It's clearly Nico Jackson. Here's the thing: people are like, "Oh, it's the worst hat trick I've ever seen." Oh, he still had an XG of 3.77, and he didn't even meet it. He missed one sitter at the very end of the game, but for the rest of the game, he was really good. He was always putting himself in position. And yeah, he doesn't finish everything, but not every striker does. But when you're under a microscope like that, every miss is amplified. But Holland misses chances like that all the time. You have the same thing with him and Darwin Nunez. Holland misses a chance, no big deal. Nunez misses an easy sitter, the world's falling apart. So it's all about perspective. You cannot not give the man who had a hat trick
It's
the man of the
strange.
match.
Yes, like they were maybe classified as easy goals, but they were very clinical finishes in the corner of the net. Very good goalkeeping performance from Vicario. So it's not like a given that he was going to score those, right? I mean, and it's no, yeah, and they're playing a high line. Tottenham was, so it's not easy to avoid the offside trap. So I think he had a good performance. Like you were saying, if Darwin Nunez misses that sitter, though, people make it a meme. They laugh about it
Yeah.
and like, oh, like it worked out. I don't understand why Nico Jackson gets hate for actually scoring later on. So yeah, I agree. Nico Jackson definitely stood out. Any other insights from Chelsea? Anything else going on? And
The big thing from the game is fans coming out really frustrated, saying, "Oh, it took us so long to break down 9 men, and a win is a win." I wish fans would understand that, especially with a season like we've had so far, where we played so well and the underlying metrics were so good, but yet we didn't win. But the wins will come. The win finally came, and you're gonna moan about how we got it. We won 4-1. Anyone in their right mind would have signed up for that before the game. Calm down. It was a really crazy, weird game in a very hostile atmosphere, and you came away winning 4-1. Thank your lucky stars. Move on to the next game. Don't be sad about a 4-1 win. It's just a ridiculous.
well, I'm not trying to sound biased, anti Tottenham or anything, but the fact that they're singing, glory, glory, Tottenham, after you guys just trounced them and they were the clear favorites going into that top of the table. It's embarrassing for me that they can think like, oh, like we worked really, and that's the big Ange philosophy, like be really nice or they don't have. I don't think that they have what it takes to win the league, and Chelsea showed that they just they're on a high, and it's not going to stay like that.
Tottenham mentality. They lose 4-1 and they go, "Oh, our manager's so great. Oh, we were 9 men." You're idiots for going 9 men down. You lost your cool. You had two players committing not only one but two red card offenses. Like they both could have been sent off for either one. So instead of being like, "Oh, we were so admirable," no, you screwed the pooch. You lost the game. You lost your cool, and now you lost a lot of important players for an important run of matches.
And to kind of turn it back on myself, if you think about it, it's a little similar to Arsenal last season, a little naive, riding high waves, still praising their players and managers, and kind of going like the positive philosophy. And that didn't work in the end, right? When it's the going got tough, the tough didn't get going. They crumbled under the pressure. It was a similar type thing of, oh, it's okay. Like we're still at the top of the table. And I think that's going to kill you. You have to be constantly critiquing your team. And I think with Chelsea, they'll always be like that, right? The fans are always critiquing. They're always making sure, how can we be better? How can we be better? Even after you've had a huge win against the top of the table. So, all in all, great performance from Chelsea. I was rooting for them, obviously. I don't feel like Chelsea and Arsenal have been as big of rivals as of late. It felt like it was really fun to watch. It was a very fun to watch game. Some are saying it's the greatest game in a long time. So it was amazing. And the other
It's
thoughts?
the it's the one thing that we can unite on is Chelsea and Arsenal fans. We all hate Tottenham. We think
Yep.
they're a joke, and they proved it again. They are a joke.
It's strange. It's seeming like Spurs are starting to hate Chelsea more than Arsenal, which is seeming kind of weird. Like our 2-2 draw at the Emirates was way less feisty, and we're supposed to be bitter rivals. I don't know. It
Yeah, there's
seems
just yeah,
it's
you're right.
different.
I just think that there's those games. There's that recent thing of Tottenham, Chelsea beating Tottenham to ruin their chances of in that Leicester winning season. I think some of that acrimony comes up.
Yep, 100%. Okay. Any other thoughts before I move on to kind of Arsenal's week?
No, tell me about Arsenal.
Yeah, so a really bad loss to West Ham in the Carabao Cup, and we are bounced out of the competition. Very disappointing performance. A lot of it boils down to Gabriel Jesus. He's still hurt. He's played one game in the Premier League, and then he's played three in the Champions League and scored 4 goals from that. So when he plays, he's great. He's just not staying fit, and Eddie Nketiah is proving to be a really weak backup striker for a side that wants to challenge for the title. So it was a bad game. So we wanted to get out of our system. We wanted to move on from that against Newcastle. And again, we had another loss. Obviously, you saw a lot of controversy around that with the VAR. First thoughts when I was watching, thought the ball was out, right? There could be some overhang, whatever. But the fact that you don't have a camera angle to see every aspect of the game and you want to implement that, it's stupid. If you're going to implement VAR, have every camera angle. It was infuriating.
Especially one right down the line.
And why can't you use the goal line technology for the whole line? How have they not implemented that? It's just weird. It seems archaic. It's dumb, whatever. Right. So it could be overhang. And then you see a massive two-handed push on the back of Gabriel. And I'm like, I know, like, yes, maybe he has his hands resting there, but no way. With his arms fully extended, that has to be a foul. Has to be a foul. We just saw something today with Napoli. The exact same thing happened, and they disallowed the goal through VAR. Okay, so that's the second offense, right? There's 3 VARs going on. We've never seen that. Absolutely insane. The third one is the offside, right? Since the 2 Newcastle players are behind the goalie, there has to be 2 defenders from Arsenal. There's only Gabriel. So they're looking to see where the ball comes off and if that's offside to Anthony Gordon. But they couldn't see who the ball came off of or when it came off of them. So all in all, really frustrating. It took like 10 minutes of the match, really kind of took the steam out of it because it was a great game, very defensively strong, both sides. Kind of like a gridlock. I mean, it felt like a 0-0 was very deserved. But it happens, but it's just so frustrating. I'd wish Arsenal just played better so that wasn't a problem, the VAR.
Yeah, I think to me, it's clearly a foul. I think 9 out of 10 refs are gonna go, that's clearly a foul.
Yep.
But it just every team that's had this in recent years, there's like one bad VR decision that just goes against you and it just pops into your head, right?
Yep.
And it just leaves a really sour taste in your mouth. And this has been that for Arsenal.
Yep.
What do you think of Arteta's comments and the club standing by issuing their club statement?
You know, I a lot of Arsenal fans like at AFTV and stuff like that, they're roasting Arteta. He's just standing by his players. You don't want to just abandon your players when that's always been his philosophy. Like, I love these guys. I love them. They played well. And really, they did play well. Kai Havertz had one of his best performances in a while. No goal or assist, but really played well, had a lot of hustle on the ball. So in reality, he's right. There's fine margins in the Premier League. And if it's decided by stupid things like that, by errors from the referees, then it's very frustrating because you want to see a fair and accurate result in the Premier League table. And granted, the one thing I don't agree with is I wouldn't be going ballistic about this because it's 1 point, right? It wasn't like we were like we were going for the win and it took the win away from us. No, we were very poor on the attacking side of the ball. We had no teeth on the attack. Gabriel Jesus out. So it's 1 point. I understand his anger. It feels like it's kind of just a boiled up situation where he's been angry about a lot of things in the past and it kind of just came out. I'm fine with the club standing by him. It's kind of strange with all the issues we've had in the past. They've never come out and dropped a statement like that. So it is a little strange to come out now, but I mean, they're kind of I've seen a few articles saying that they're going to cite the incident with Brentford where they disallowed a goal, and then where Gabriel Martinelli's goal was disallowed versus Manchester United as kind of like a comprehensive case to PGMOL. I don't know, but it's not gonna. I think the most important thing Mikel Arteta said is it doesn't matter. Like, it's not gonna fix it. It's not gonna fix it. They made the mistake already. It's done.
Well, like that brings me to the bigger point. How do you fix VAR? Because I think most of us like the idea of having a camera looking at everything, but to me, how you fix it, you have to have you have to figure out what's going on. And I think in the moment of crisis, the refs make bad decisions
Yeah.
because they're overwhelmed with anxiety about getting it wrong. And I think you saw it with the Chelsea game. They're like checking every little thing, taking forever because they're afraid to get it wrong. They don't want to get it wrong. So you have to teach them how to think in crisis. I think that this is talked about a lot in the NFL. Like, they've recently gotten people like a coach for the coaches to understand like how to, in the moment of crisis, how to like respond and make smart decisions, because the decisions are really simple but they're just so filled with anxiety. I think you have to train the refs better, get better refs, put more money into being refs so you can get better referees.
Better pay for sure. I looked it up and they get like 50, 60K a year. It's just
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd be motivated to do it unless you
Wow.
have a passion for refereeing. But I mean,
Yeah.
even today in the Champions League, I saw they're doing like be a referee campaign. They have it like on the back of the ref shirt. So
Really?
it seems like there is an issue of like shortages of refs. And that leaves a problem in the Premier League where you don't have a bunch of experts in the VAR room. You have ex refs because that's all we have is a few refs. You have Mike Dean, who doesn't want to oust his boy on the field. He doesn't want to like ruin his
Mm-hmm.
boy's performance, like he said in the past or whatever. So you need to invest, like you were saying, invest more, get more experts, just have VAR guys. They don't need to be past refs. They can just be
Yeah.
VAR specialists. They know how to look at the videos and draw the lines. Boom.
Give them a nice salary, give them good bonuses. I think that's the main issue. I know that there's a lot that goes into how they evaluate the refs, and if they make bad decisions, like they get in trouble and they get demoted, like Anthony Taylor did going to the championship. They just need to put more money into it. I think you have this multi-billion-dollar enterprise, but you're not giving refs enough money. You're not gonna get good professionals that way.
No, seriously. And you see in other leagues different things that they're kind of using. In the Champions League, they use kind of the Hawkeye, Eagle Eye, whatever it's called, where it's like a 3D recreation of the offsides. I like that. I don't know why they've rejected that in the Premier League or if it doesn't work with their systems, but I think there needs to be a group think. There needs to be some sort of UEFA kind of, I don't know, something where they work together and figure out what works best for most of the top five leagues. And all in all, yes, it was frustrating to lose that goal to VAR, but our team wasn't good enough to win the game. We at
Right.
most deserved a draw. And that leads me on to my next point is we need a new striker desperately. We're going to talk about that later and talk about our transfer targets, but Eddie Nketiah sucks. I actually hate watching him so much. He's sweating all the time, but I don't even see him running that much. It's so frustrating. I'm so tired of watching him play at striker with friggin' two star boys next to him and he can't even do anything. It's insane.
Former ex Chelsea Academy player Eddie Nketiah.
Dude, he looks like a Sidemen character. He's the worst. I hate him.
All right,
Okay.
well let's get into it. Let's do our next segment. We're gonna do guess who. The January transfer window is approaching. Both Arsenal and Chelsea are surely looking to be involved to bring in some new signings. Each of us has chosen a player we feel that can seriously strengthen our respective teams. We're going to start with me. I'm going to give Jesse 3 hints and we'll see if he can guess the player. All right, my first hint, Jesse.
Okay.
This player is Nigerian. My second hint, this player is currently in Serie A. The last hint is this player finished 8th in Bloom Dior.
Got it. Victor Osimhen.
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. Not a really hard one. I could have done the harder one, but I just want to. This is a pipe dream, clearly. Are they going to get him in January? Most likely, no. But they could. And this is my point. Chelsea have spent massive amounts, and they haven't done a ton on one player. Yes, they've done 100 on Enzo, and yes, they've done 100 on Caicedo. Mostly, though, it's like they spend 20 to 30 million on young, talented prospects. Kendry Paez, Andre Santos. Why not just take that money you're going to spend on like 10 youngsters and pool it for 150 million and go get Osimhen? He's unhappy. They're unlikely to sell, but if you give them 150 million, they could sell. And you're going to spend that money anyway. Why not fix your one issue?
Mm-hmm.
Striker. We haven't had a great striker since Diego Costa, and you can fix that right now. He's 24, he's young, he's experienced, he's really good. I think he would be perfect.
No, I think he'd be unreal as well. My only concern is it feels like in order to break the striker number 9 curse at Chelsea, you have to go with like a homegrown product or something. I'm afraid for you guys to buy a big striker because you haven't seen it work for Chelsea in a very long time. And it's unsure of whether you should go a different route. Maybe focus on the midfield like you guys have actually kind of started to do under Todd Bowley. Build a strong midfield. Let the striker kind of work his way in. I don't know.
We've already done it though. We have the midfield. We've got some good wingers.
Mm-hmm.
and our clear issue is striker. And they don't come available. There's like one every year or two. You
The
miss on
strike
Kane,
the
you
striker
have
market sucks
Osimhen.
right now.
It's awful. And I heard Daniel Sturridge talking about this, and it's because he says most kids want to play winger. They want to be a
Mm-hmm.
winger.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that, but it's also because they're so valuable that when you get one, they're valued so ridiculously, you'll never sell them. And that's exactly what's going to happen if we don't get him. Real Madrid's going to buy him, or Napoli's going to buy him, or Napoli's going to keep him, or Liverpool's going to buy him, or Man United's going to buy him, and he's going to bag a bunch of goals. So
Yep.
why don't you just go a step ahead and just get him?
Yep. And I like that Todd Bowley does that because it is the reality of football today is you have to spend big if you want the big talents, or you have to grow them at home through your academy. And if you have to drop 150 million to get 30 guaranteed goals a year, then you have to do it. It's not a big problem. You can earn that money back. You can win the league. You can win the Champions League. So it's a
Yeah.
risk that I would definitely take. So I think that is a solid choice in Victor Osimhen for Chelsea coming up in this January transfer window. Okay, I have my target for you. So my first hint, I kind of have some hard ones.
Okay.
So my first hint was that his first team in his senior career that he played for was Northampton Town. Okay. The second hint is that in 2021, he nearly played for the Jamaican national team. And then my final hint is he is currently on a ban in the Premier League. Who do you have?
You're talking about Ivan Toney.
Correct. Ivan Toney, currently serving his gambling suspension right now in the Premier League, but I think he is the perfect anecdote for our Eddie Nketiah conundrum at Arsenal this season. I think Gabriel Jesus is still our number one if Ivan Toney comes in, but I think that's going to be the hard point of negotiation between Edu and Ivan Toney. He's definitely going to want to start. He's definitely want to be the guy. But I think we can kind of work it out where Gabriel Jesus can maybe be a winger sometimes and bring on depth, and we can have different variations. I'm not sure how well we can do in getting him sold on the project, but if I was him, I'd want to upgrade from Brentford to Arsenal. It seems like an
He
obvious
already
upgrade.
he already said he's already told Brentford he wants to leave. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a matter of agreeing that fee because Brentford aren't going to let him go for cheap.
And we're a very stingy club. We are a very stingy club with a few exceptions like Kai Havertz. But we really are. We always take a long time to negotiate. I'm sure Edu has already they're already probably talking. My one worry is he is a little older. I think he's 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, 27. Not terrible. Back in the day, that's your prime, right? We're very harsh now on age. But I think he's
Wasn't Jesus close to that too? Or
yeah, Jesus is a little older. I think he's also 27. So yeah, and that's fine. You want to have players in their prime. We're very young last season, and that seemed to kind of hurt us in the end. That inexperience. So I would love to bring in a Premier League proven goal scorer. Even if even a championship proven goal scorer, he can score goals, and that's what we need. We need a poacher. We need a fox in the box, and Eddie Nketiah can't do that. He can't do that. So I think he's the clear and obvious choice, and I think Mikel Arteta thinks the same for sure.
he's also on Chelsea's radar. I've seen mixed things on him that they want him, but then they also don't because he doesn't fit their project because he's not young enough. But I agree, he's premium proven, and if you could get him for 80 million, which is probably I think what you'll end up paying 70, 80, I would do it because he's going to score goals. He's guaranteed to score goals.
The one thing I'm worried about is that Mikel Arteta is gonna have Kai Havertz as his Swiss Army knife, and he's gonna be like, no, we don't need a striker. Like Kai and
Yeah.
Trossard can play striker if they want. He is a little bit like that. He tries to utilize all the players he has, and he's not open to switching things up a lot. And that's just kind of what we've accepted with him. It's helped to be stubborn at some points to make sure that players get in good form. He keeps playing them, keeps playing them, keeps playing them. They get better. But I'm hoping he's open to that because I know he loves Eddie Nketiah. He like works hard or something in training. He always says whatever. But we need goals. So obvious choice. So our two targets, Victor Osimhen, Ivan Toney, probably the two best strikers in the transfer market right now, wouldn't you say?
Yes, if you're going for ready-made strikers, yes. There are some really, really good young guys that have a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig. Um, let's see. Who else? Who else have we been
Luke
watching?
De
Oh,
Jong,
Boniface at, or I don't know how you pronounce it. Luke
Boniface or
D.
something.
Yeah, I probably. I honestly don't know, but he's killing it at Leverkusen. Um, if you want like more of a hybrid, which I don't want, I want an out and out nine. But you could go with Florian Wirtz at Leverkusen. There's a lot of
No.
guys out there that are prospects that are unproven, but you're going to need a proven guy for the
Mm-hmm.
next 5 years. And to me, that's Osimhen or Tony. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think there's going to be an arms race, and I think one of those guys is going to move in the January transfer window.
Oh, for sure. And hopefully the negotiations for Raya like built up that low connection between Arsenal and Brentford. So maybe kind of a foreshadowing of what's to come with the relationship there. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to our next segment. So, Bailey, you want to introduce us to that one?
So we both always talked about how what would happen if our favorite athletes decided to play soccer. We always said that America still has the best athletes. If we decided when they were young to play soccer, we'd have the best international soccer team. I still stand by that. So today we're going to indulge in an exercise where we go through and we build our best 11 from NFL players, current NFL players. I'm going to let Jesse go first. We're going to go switch 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to switch off. The only rules are you can only pick one player from a team, and you can pick from whatever position you want. But once a player's gone, I can't pick them.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 4-3-3 classic. And at my right wing, I'm going to have Tyreek Hill.
Okay, that was the number one, like clear consensus number one.
For sure.
What more can you say? He has like the perfect winger build. Like he would score.
Low
He's
center of gravity.
absolutely absolutely rapid, strong. He's probably could score headed goals too. He's gonna just
He,
score a million goals.
I'd imagine he'd be a lot like Adama Traore, not very clinical, but he'll get to the byline and
I
he'll send it in.
disagree.
You
I
think he'd
feel
be
like he'd
clinical?
be absolutely like the way he is so clutch.
The
I
thing
mean,
I'm worried about with all of these players is their hand foot coordination. I don't know if
so for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to assume that if they grew up
okay.
playing, that
Okay.
they're going to have the exact same coordination as they would
He does have that
from the
dog in him.
NFL.
He has that dog in him. He is clutch.
Honestly, he's the clear one in my
For sure.
opinion.
For sure.
So I think you got really good value there. I was really hoping you weren't going to take him, but my clear number two, because I think this winger is probably the most important. I'm going with Jamar Chase.
Mm,
He reminds me a lot of Hill. He's got that
mm-hmm,
low center of gravity. He's a little bit bigger,
mm-hmm,
and he's still really fast. He's really competitive. He's got incredible coordination. There's no way he doesn't score like 40 goals. I could
mm-hmm.
see him being a lot like a mixture between Mo Salah and Cristiano Ronaldo. Like he's just got those freak tools. He's gonna just be a freak. I could see if he would have played soccer,
And
he would have scored a million
is
goals.
he on your left or right side, or are you playing two
He's
strikers? Or
going. He's going left wing. I'm doing
okay,
4-3-3.
okay,
He's going left wing. You know, actually, I'm going to do a 4-2-1-3.
okay,
An extra attacker in there.
okay, awesome. I'm gonna go a little different route. At my 8, my box to box, I'm gonna have Christian McCaffrey, just a jack of all trades, very fast, very
Like that.
dense, strong. I feel like he would be just a perfect box to box guy. So I'm gonna go McCaffrey.
Well, that's perfect because he's a Swiss Army knife in the NFL too.
Yeah.
So he could score goals from outside of the box. He could crash the box. He could track back. He could
Good
progress
team,
play.
good team
He'd
player
be
too.
yeah, he'd be incredible dribbler.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick. I like that. So with my pick, I'm going striker,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going Derek Henry.
Okay.
I think Derek Henry would be an incredible striker. One, he's big. He's going to crash the box. He's going to get north south. He's going to get to the post. He's going to bundle it in. Two, he's incredibly fast. So you could play it through balls to him. He's going to get on it. He's going to hold the defender off. I could see him being a mix between like Lukaku and Henri. I just feel like he'd be insane.
Fire.
He'd score a ton of goals.
Fire. Okay, great pick. I'm going next to fill my left wing position. So I've got Tyreek on the right. On the left, I'm going to have Justin Jefferson, another top talent in the wide receiver position in the NFL. Very fast, very electric, explosive, similar to Tyreek Hill, just not there yet. A little younger, higher ceiling. So I'll take him with the left wing.
I like that. It's a good pick.
I was gonna go Jamar Chase for sure if you didn't take him, but I think Justin's a good pick.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my number 10. And for my number 10, it's gonna be a little bit of a wild card,
All
but I
right.
think you'll like it because I think he'd be a perfect second striker.
Mm-hmm.
And this person is Travis Kelce.
Oh, okay.
So here's
Okay.
what I see him being. So Rhyme Deuter, space interpreter that like
Yep.
Thomas Mueller.
Mm-hmm.
He's that, but the NFL. Like he finds all the soft pockets in his zone. I could see him just dropping in deep,
Little
getting
Kai
the ball,
Havertz.
turning. What Kai Havertz is supposed to be. I could
Mm-hmm.
see him being Mesut Ozil
Yep. Okay.
mixed with Mesut Ozil mixed with like Zidane. I feel like he would be so good. He's huge.
With
So
little
first
Peter
off,
Crouch in there. Yep.
he could hold off anybody. He's just gonna
Yep.
hold him off. And then he's gonna find the space and he's gonna get turned and he's gonna play it through to Henry. And
Mm-hmm.
Henry's gonna score a million goals. And then on top of that, he's gonna come into the box. He's gonna score headers. He's gonna score cutbacks. He's gonna just always be in the right position, always at the right moment, and he's gonna just score a ton of goals.
That is fire. I'm a little iffy. I'm a little iffy if he can be as creative as you think, but I do see the vision. Second striker vibes, super big, hold anyone off, back to goal. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. I'm gonna counter that with a center back, and I'm going with TJ Watt. Not the first thought of many people of a defensive player in the NFL. I was originally thinking maybe a Myles Garrett, but I like how TJ Watt in the NFL, he's a hawk, right? He's watching the running back, he's watching the quarterback, that perfect
Mm-hmm.
middle linebacker type guy. And I would want that as my center back. He's got enough height, he's got enough strength, he's got the weight on him. I think he'd be a good leader too, barking out the orders on the corners, setting up the set pieces. I think he'd be
Mm-hmm.
solid. So that's my counter for Travis Kelce, TJ
He's
Watt in the
just
center back.
Vidic on steroids.
For real. For real.
He'd be incredible. So with my, I'm gonna go with a number 6.
Okay.
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 This is my captain. This is my midfield player. This is my progressor of play.
Oh,
When he
shoot.
needs to, he's gonna break things up. But for the most part, he's leading what's going on around him. And I'm going with Patrick Mahomes
Oh,
as my
okay.
number 6.
Okay.
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 So here's why. He is the best passer in the NFL. It's going to translate to soccer. He's going to ping balls. He's going to get the short passes. And he's very fast, underrated. So I mean, everyone knows this now, but like he's so quick, kind of a sleeper build, really,
Okay.
really good physically. He's going to be incredible. He's going to find every pass. He's going to play to my speedy wingers. He's gonna do it all. He's going to be awesome.
That is pretty solid. I didn't think a lot about quarterbacks for some reason, and I'm starting to second guess myself. I didn't really think about that. Um,
Well, you don't, but like these are This is the
They're
most important
athletes.
position in American sports,
Yeah,
and these are the best athletes. This is the kid that grows up as the best athlete, and that's why they get the ball as quarterback.
that's
They're the
fair. That's
prettiest
fair.
person on the field. You want to have at least one quarterback in there. Where you put them is up to interpretation. I think he'd be a perfect
I
six.
it definitely has to be the mobile quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I don't see like a Mac Jones making either of these lineups,
Well,
but
Mac Jones is that's
yeah,
digging from the bottom of the barrel, but like
okay,
Burrow, I think you have to find a spot for a guy like Trevor Lawrence, right?
that's fair.
Because that hand-eye coordination, like we said, the ground rules, like it's going to translate to
Hmm.
passing the football and to shooting from outside the box. Like they're going to be incredible at those two things. And what team doesn't want someone like that? To me, Patrick Mahomes out there, he's going to be like Enzo Fernandez mixed with Jorginho.
I can
He's
see
just
that.
going to like find every pass and he's going to bark at everyone. He's going to keep everyone in line.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I'm gonna start going into my fullbacks here. Um,
Okay.
let's see.
Important in the modern game.
Very important. I need speed. I'm going with Bijan Robinson.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
A
Good
good
shout for
weapon,
right back.
an absolute beast on the ball. He's really physical, super fast, just an overall weapon, kind of like a Reese James type beat on the right backside.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that. Bijan.
Well, I like that because he can dribble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to dribble at defenders, but he's also going to track back, and he's also going to track the midfield if you need. He can tuck in and be an inverted fullback.
For sure. For sure.
It's a little bit unorthodox because to me, he's clearly a winger, but I still like the pick.
I, that's fair. And I think I'm kind of going with a really aggressive right wing back behind Tyreek Hill. Just overload the right side. Just absolutely go insane on the right side.
Yeah, I
That's what I'm
mean,
gonna go with.
that overlap is going to be just absolutely insane.
Oh, for sure.
I like the pick. That's a bold pick. So for me, I need a right winger. I also need an eight and I need a full back line. So I'm just gonna mix it up and I'm gonna go for keeper.
Okay. Okay.
And this is gonna be for me, the perfect keeper has to be big. What's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
position on the field? Offensive line. So give me Trent
Oh.
Williams at goalkeeper.
Oh. Okay.
Massive 6'8". You have to imagine he's not going to be 350 playing soccer, right?
Yep.
He's going to
Mm-hmm.
be more like 275, maybe 300. He's incredible. He's got good feet. He's long. He's a dog. He's always getting in fights. He's just got that dog in him. Freaking beat cancer like it was nothing. He's going to be an incredible keeper. I mean, he's not going to be afraid. He's going to put his body on the line, and he's got those huge paws, and he's just going to absolutely stop everything. He's going to be a freaking octopus in that.
That is 100% fair pick. I like that. I didn't think of offensive linemen either, because you take into account they're not eating as much as a football player.
Every offensive line, the second they retire, like all the great ones, they
Mhm.
lose like 100 pounds
Yeah, that's
because
so true.
they have to be absolutely ginormous, and
Oh, for
they're
real.
incredible athletes. Half these guys are like the best high school basketball players in their state before they
Mhm.
like go to the NFL. So
That's fair. All right, I need to snag a striker before we lose out on some offensive talent. So I'm going Cooper Cup. I think he'd be perfect, weaving in between the lines behind defenders, making sure he's in the right spot at the right time. A little smaller. He's still pretty tall. I'm pretty sure he's probably like 6'1" or something. He's probably still tall.
yeah, he's not like a towering striker, but that's a perfectly normal size for a striker.
Yeah,
It's a good size.
perfectly normal size. I got a smaller front three, but I think he'd be like just perfect weaving in and out. You know, I think
Yeah,
McCaffrey and him would link up well. I could just see that.
you know, it's interesting. If I were your manager, I probably would have switched him and Jefferson,
That's fair. That's fair.
but I like it, but I also don't because I don't think Cup's selfish enough. You want
That's
like a more of a
true.
selfish
He'd be
striker,
more
and
of like
that's
a
why I
he'd
went
be like
with like
Trossard. He'd be looking for the pass always.
yeah.
That's fair. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it.
I like it. I mean, that's a good pick. So I'm gonna go with center back, and I'm going with Miles Garrett.
Oh, I was about to take him, bro.
But to me, once you took TJ Watt, like this made it very clear I had to take Miles Garrett. I mean, those are probably 1, 2 if we're talking defensive ends right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for
The
sure.
thing about I have with Garrett is he's absolutely massive. Like I think Virgil van Dijk gave him 75 pounds of muscle. So no one's gonna dribble past him because he's fast. No one's gonna body him. No one's gonna hold up play against him. I mean, he's just going to be an absolute monster out there. He's going to
Well,
just destroy everything.
I have my answer for that, and that is Nick Bosa as my left center back next to TJ
Okay.
Watt. He's
I'm
up
not going to
there.
lie. I forgot about him. He's probably, those three are at the top.
They're all kind of interchangeable. Aaron Donald's a little older, so maybe not, but they're interchangeable. And I think, dude, his build is insane.
Yeah.
Literally the best build I've ever seen of
Massive.
any human being. Um, I think he would just be
So
solid,
you went with two brutes at center back,
which is a little risky.
which I respect. I respect. Okay.
They're gonna
It's
be
a good
pricey.
move. But here's the thing. Think about every great center back pairing. You've got the dogged guy, he's going to be there. He's going to break up everything, stick his head where it doesn't belong. You got the Vidic type. And to me, that's my Miles Garrett. But then, in a lot of these great partnerships, you got the more refined guy. He's got a lot of speed.
I know where you're
He's
going.
a really good passer. And so I'm going with my second quarterback. Okay. My second quarterback.
Wow.
And he's going to lead from the back. He's going to spray long balls, and they're going to be impeccable. He's probably going to be the best passer on the team. Okay. So I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. He's
Wow.
6'5, six
Okay.
six. Yeah, he's not huge. Yeah, he might get bodied. But I got Miles Garrett, who's always going to be taking the big bully. He's going to be taking Mikel Antonio, all right? I just need Lawrence to sweep up. He's incredibly fast. He's one of the fastest QBs. He's going to sweep up everything. But more importantly, we're going to build from the back with him versus you got two brutes. They're going to stop everything, but both of them suck at passing.
That's fair. That's fair. To counteract the brute philosophy, I'm going at left back with Sauce Gardner. Um,
Sauce. Okay.
I think
I
he'll have
like
good
it.
vision. He'll get back on defense. He'll make up for the lack of pace that you might see from Nick Bosa. I think he'll be good up and down, a Kieran Tierney type thing. Spray just spam crosses into Cooper Kupp. I think he's an obvious choice there. His fitness is unbelievable. I'm going to put him at left back.
Good pick. So I need a right winger. And to me, to balance my team out, because I have Jamar Chase in the left wing. He's a dog. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
seek his. He's going to score a million goals. I need a great crosser. I need someone who's, but also can cut inside and score when we need him, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
need someone chemistry wise that's going to feed Derrick Henry and is going to feed Chase. So I can't just go with the biggest, best freak athlete like Stephon Diggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to go with someone a little bit better, more of a glue guy. And this is going to be weird, but I'm going with on my right wing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
sorry. I said Derrick.
I was confused there.
I messed that up. I was thinking about Derrick Henry. I'm going with Fred Warner.
Oh, I was going to take him as center back.
This is the thing, like, he's a jack of all trades, so I know he can do well. Like, I can see the criticism. Like, how is he gonna like have the coordination to play this position? I think he's just gonna be that glue guy. He's just gonna fill in whatever we need. He's gonna be great at pressing. He's gonna be great speed wise. He's gonna be great tracking back. He's just gonna be a great glue guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna put him in the midfield, but I'm just gonna put him here because I like him there.
Yeah. Okay. Respect. Respect. So I have three positions left. I have the keeper, the six, and my 10. I'm going to go also the quarterback route for my 10. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson, a very mobile and athletic quarterback, great vision to be able to see the players around him, great physicality. I think he's a good choice there to kind of round out my lack of creativity in that front.
Hey, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. So I need an 8 to cover for Mahomes while he's doing his thing. And Travis Kelsey is more of an attacking player. So I need a box to box and Golo Conte, just workhorse. He's never gonna stop running. He's just gonna be all over the place. And he's just gonna never he's just always gonna be at the right place at the right time. So what position do I think of when I think of that? I think of two, and it's going to be I'm thinking safety or I'm thinking linebacker. Now, I want someone who's going to be a little bit not as big. So I don't need a big linebacker. I need a smaller safety or a cornerback who's just going to have the knack for interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with the player right now on the Dallas Cowboys, Trevon Diggs.
Okay.
I think he's going to be great. He's just going to always be in the right place at the right time. He's going to run a lot. He's feisty. He's going to get into tackles. He's going to go in 2-footed, but he's also going to intercept everything. And he's going to turn. He's going to find my playmakers, or he's just going to get it upfield. As you can see, he's great at returning. He's got some pick sixes. He's got that nose for the ball. He could turn around and just march it up the field, and then get it to my guys at front, and he's going to score goals.
Respectable. I'm going to go with another defender in my 6th spot. I'm going to go with Micah Parsons.
Oh,
he is
my next pick.
He is a great, also kind of a Swiss Army knife, but on the defensive side, great physicality, very athletic. I just think he'd be perfect in that spot. He's not going to be super offensive. He's not going to be great on the attack, but he's going to keep it down. He's going to be a great holding midfielder. So I'm going to go with him.
Okay, I really respect that. He was definitely my next pick. So that throws a little wrench in it. I'm going to go Max Crosby.
Okay.
And I'm going to put him at right back.
Okay.
Because I want someone who's going to be able to run a lot, but also is very physically gifted. And I don't need someone who's going to be able to dribble. I just need him to overlap and smash balls into the box. I think he would do that really well if given the chance. And he's also going to track back, and he's going to guard the best player on the other team, the left winger. He's going to guard Vinny. He's going to guard Messi. He's going to guard Ronaldo. He's going to guard all those guys, and he's going to shut them down because he's a boss and he's huge and he's physically gifted. But he's also extremely fast, has a great motor. So I think he's going to be a really, really good right back.
I was thinking him as well in my 6. Okay, so to round out my team, at keeper, I'm surprised he hasn't gone yet. For some reason,
I'm still missing one position, I believe.
You are?
I'm missing left back. You got everyone already?
No, I need my keeper.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You were about to say your keeper. Go ahead.
Yeah. My keeper is going to be DK Metcalf.
I like that.
Good hands. Also huge. So
Very
big obstacle. Yep. He'll be quick.
Fast too, because he'd be a great sweeper keeper. That's a good shout.
Very good. Sweeper keeper, very athletic. With my team, I'm not necessarily looking to play out the back. I think it's going to be more of a traditional just send it up the wings. So I don't really need him to be like an orchestrator. Just want him to stop the ball. He's got huge wingspan. Perfect choice.
I like that. That's a good choice. So I need a left back. And to me, this guy's got to be attacking minded. So I have to pick an offensive player. And I'm going probably with a running back. Now, I want someone who's like dynamic running back. I can do it all. Ideally, that would have been Christian McCaffrey. I don't have him. So I'm going Austin Eckler because he's a Swiss Army knife. He's gonna be bombing it down the left. He's got a ton of speed. He's got that bowling ball stature. He's gonna overlap. He's gonna whip in crosses. He can cut back inside. He can crash the box, score headers because he's a freak athlete. I think he'd be a great left back.
Yeah, he gives me Marcelo vibes for some reason. I feel like he'd be nice. He'd be nice with it.
He's just got a great motor too, and he just knows how to be involved and help out. I feel like he'd be a great left back.
Oh, for sure. And I'm going Bill Belichick, manager.
Bill Belichick manager. I'm going Mike Shanahan, or sorry, Kyle Shanahan, because we're just gonna have the craziest schemes. No one's gonna be able to stop us.
Yeah, he's Bill Belichick's gonna have an Ancelotti type, personality, just stoic.
With the guys you picked in the manager, it sounds like you should have gone with that Big Sam 4-4-2.
I probably should have low key. It's gonna there's like no structure. It's gonna just send it forward. But
I I think you got a lot of freaks on your team, but I'd be worried about modern football. You can build from the back with the
no, for sure we're
center
not.
backs you have.
We're just trying not to get relegated. We are Big Sam Allardyce Brexit ball.
Oh yes, I love it. Just
Well, there you
beans on
go.
toast.
If you don't watch American football, you probably have no idea any of those people, maybe DK Metcalf or something. But if you do, let us know what you guys think. Super solid starting 11 from both. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to our final segment. So this segment is called Head to Head. So both Chelsea and Arsenal have recently completed blockbuster signings of over 100 million pounds for young and talented midfielders. Who are those midfielders? Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice for 107 million pounds and 100 million pounds respectively. So Bailey and I are going to kind of argue which signing has been better, but with a little twist. I'm going to support Enzo Fernandez in his case, and Bailey is going to argue for Declan Rice. So Bailey, tell us why Declan Rice has been the better signing for Arsenal in the Premier League over Enzo Fernandez.
So I'm going to start with he's a Chelsea boy. He was in our
Mm-hmm.
academy. We gave up on him. It still stings to not see him in that Chelsea blue. So I think there's a lot of good things going with this signing. First off, he's young, but he has a ton of experience. He captained a West Ham side for 6 years. He was incredible with them. He brought them to European glory. They won the Europa Conference League with him. And he has a ton of caps for England, and he's undroppable. It's like the first name on the team sheet for England. So besides Harry Kane, probably he's very experienced and he's still young, which is something you want to see. The next thing is he is elite at two things that you need. He's an elite ball carrier, progressing final third. Thinking Mateo Kovacic. Think of your other dribblers in the midfield. He's elite at that. He's elite at progressing the play. And he's elite at tackling and interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically interceptions, he's incredible. He's got incredible timing. He's big. He's rangy. He can sniff out a lot of attacks, get the ball, turn, get upfield. It's something that you don't really see very often. And so that's why you kind of can understand that $1 $100 million price tag. He is also clutch. He scores a lot of goals. He can score from outside of the box, smashing it. He'll crash the box. He'll score. You saw that with the United game this year. He won you guys that game because he was just the right place. He tucks it in. He's composed. He's great at that. So Enzo is not great at that. He's been awful. He hasn't scored in the league yet. He's had a billion chances. He had a penalty save. He's not great at that. And Enzo is not a great destroyer. He's a great passer, but he's not as great in that CDM role versus Rice. So those are my 3 points. My last point is he's always fit. He is always ready to go. He plays a million minutes and he never gets hurt.
And I will validate all those points. He has been the most physically gifted midfielder I've seen at Arsenal in some time. Yes, Martin Odegaard, but Declan Rice you're right, he's a destroyer. He's amazing on the defensive side and above average on the attacking side. And that's what I'm going to kind of exploit with my argument for Enzo Fernandez. First things first. Yes, Declan Rice is young, but Enzo is a couple years younger. He is 22 years old, a World Cup winner, already having a lot of accolades to his name with just that. So a little edge with age. Yes, he's not performing quite to the level of Declan right now, but he's in a young Chelsea side rebuilding with a lot of money, a lot of pieces around him. And he has Caicedo in that 6th spot next to him, right? So he doesn't necessarily need to be that destroyer. He doesn't need to be the one on defense. He can carry the ball forward into the final third, which Declan Rice hasn't quite gotten the hold of. And that's the frustrating thing as an Arsenal fan, is that Mikel Arteta is trying to squeeze Rice into this 8 spot when he's 100% a 6. I was watching him on an interview today after the Champions League game. By the way, Arsenal won. I forgot to mention that 2-0 against Sevilla. But he said, yes, I prefer a 6. But when Mikel tells me I can be an 8, it's a little exciting that I can take the ball forward. He does it well. But oftentimes he's dispossessed, or it's passed back. It's passed back to Jorginho, or it's passed back to Martinelli and back to Zinchenko. So Declan has been good at just being a destroyer, breaking up passes. But like we saw in the Newcastle game, we need a little more. We need a little more to take us to that final third and get a goal, get someone to have a touch in the box. So for that, I do think Enzo is a little more creative. We saw a great goal in the World Cup, an absolute banger. So I do think he's a little more technically gifted in that way. And because of that, I think he has a higher ceiling. I think he has the physicality to maybe become a destroyer one day. I don't know if that's maybe something in his bag. I think he can maybe work on that, be better at it. But all in all, I love both players. I really do. And they really are different.
I'll give a rebuttal real quick, and then you can give me a rebuttal.
Okay.
We can agree that no midfielder is going to have everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither of these guys are Modric. They're not perfect in every sense. So what Enzo is great at, he's great at 2 things that I mentioned, and you can agree. He's great at progressing, and he's great at defense, destroying.
Yes.
You said he needs to be a 6, but you're missing out on that progressive carry aspect. You want him up the field destroying, counter pressing, winning the ball back. If he's a 6 and he's always protecting that back line, you're missing out on that. You're only getting that progressive carry action from the last third to the middle third. You're missing that middle third to the final third, which can be huge, right? So I think with what you have with Declan, he's not a great passer, progressive passer, I'll admit, but he is a good passer. He has very good passing statistics. Yes. He's not loose with it. He's very tight with his passing. He's not great at progressive passing. It's just one weakness, right? And as long as you can get a guy like Odegaard next to him, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Versus Enzo, like, you have to have the perfect midfield around him. So I feel like it's a harder, like you saw last year, he was really great, but since the midfield was in that, like Chelsea didn't win any games for like the last 15 games. So
yes. That is true. Rice by himself in a weaker West Ham side was more effective and stood out more. But did he create enough goals for his side to win games? I don't think he can do that as well as Enzo. Yes, he hasn't scored yet in the Premier League. He has 2 assists. He's doing okay, but I don't think we've seen him reach his peak even this season. He hasn't figured out the system with Caicedo, with Gallagher. Once they figure that out, I feel like he has more potential to impact the score line, which leads to more results. I'm not saying Declan Rice isn't great at the intangibles. He is. He's great at, restarting play, breaking up tackles, interceptions. But what I would like to see, and as an Arsenal fan, what I would like to see and why I would love to have Enzo Fernandez is just a little more teeth, a little something to account for. Okay, we've replayed, we've passed back, but what do we have to account for it? There's no goals yet. And that's why I would love to have Enzo Fernandez. He is so creative, right? He can get in there, he can create a goal. Yes, he hasn't been the perfect model of that this season, but I do think he will reach it.
Offensive wins games, defense wins championships is my only.
That's fair.
But let's get out of this weird scenario. I felt like really dirty advocating him over Enzo because I do.
Oh, me too.
All right, so let's talk upcoming events. So who do Arsenal play this weekend?
Yeah, so Arsenal play Burnley. I think it's going to be a little more challenging than this game against Sevilla. Sevilla looked absolutely terrible. So it's going to be a little more challenging. Again, no Gabriel Jesus. Tomiyasu went off. Saka went off as well. Potentially 2 more injuries. It's going to be pretty challenging, but I do think this is a team where Eddie Nketiah shines. against. Maybe gets a couple goals. He's
This
good against.
is this is 5-0
Yeah,
at
it's gonna
least.
be. It's gonna be. I'm obviously feeling very skeptical. We've had a couple losses recently, so
Why? It's Burnley.
I know, but that's just when you have a couple losses in a row, you lose a little bit of the positivity. So I'm just making sure I'm not disappointed. I
I
do think
see.
I'm gonna predict 3-0.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2 goals from Trossard and one from Martinelli. I think Eddie Nketiah is also injured. He wasn't in the squad today, so I think it's gonna be
Well, you
Trossard.
got Saka, you got Trossard, you got
Yep.
Martin, like you said. Anyway, all right. Chelsea has a way bigger game against Man City. This is important because we still have a lot of hard games left, and we have a lot of ground to make up. So we need to at least get a point here,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why I don't think we are. I don't think we're going to get a point. I think it's
That's
going to be a close game, but I don't think we're going to win. I hope we do, but I'm worried that City they're playing really well right now, and when they get in those runs like they do, they tend to rattle off like 15 wins in a row, and I think that we're in the middle of one of those. So we'll see, but I hope we can nick a point at least.
it would be crazy if you guys did. I think it's going to be close. I genuinely think it'll be a close game. I really do. Hot take. I think Chelsea are coming off a high against a big win against Tottenham, but I do think they'll be a little overwhelmed in the midfield. Again, I now that we're out of that scenario, I think Enzo is going to get a little overwhelmed. I don't think Caicedo's up for the challenge yet. It's going to be. I think they're going to be overrun in the midfield. I really do.
That's not what I'm worried about because I
You're
think
worried about the
our
defense.
I genuinely think without De Bruyne, our midfield's better.
Okay. Okay.
Like the only player that's better than Enzo and Caicedo is Rodri. That's
Okay.
one guy.
Okay.
Yeah, like Bernardo, depending on like where you consider him, or
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both better than who's that new guy they got Nunes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the back line, especially if we're playing Tasasi, and I'm worried about our front line. If we're
Mm-hmm.
playing Jackson, he's going to get 2 chances, and if he doesn't score them, we're not going to win.
Yep.
Sterling, hopefully he gets up for the big game against his
Mm-hmm.
former team. Anyway, we'll see. It should be a great weekend. Thanks for joining us today. Please like and subscribe. We're back for this season after a long break, but we plan to upload every week. And we thank everyone who tuned in this far. We will see you next week at the same time.
Awesome.